Hello, beautiful soul. It's Meka of SpiderMeka Portraits. Ever felt like your voice was stuck? After my third surgery threatened my voice in 2023, I decided silence no longer suited me, and I was done feeling like I couldn't move forward because my idea of success felt so far removed. So I launched Dreams of Silk, your personal and professional journey podcast. Join me as we unravel life's threads together. Expect candid discussions, laughter, and learning, all so we can infuse a little more ease into your life. Something smooth, something strong, shimmering, and seductive, just like spider silk. As an internationally recognized portrait and branding photographer, speaker, and storyteller based in Chicago, I empower women to embrace their natural selves and transform toxic narratives. For entrepreneurs and small businesses, I create captivating visuals that demand attention. Explore my work at SpiderMeka.com. Follow the Spider on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. Subscribe for more. Lola VonRoda is my first guest, and I'm very excited. Lola being the founder of Iconic Details, which is a branding and identity sanctuary dedicated to choosing life by design. I love that Lola always asks the question, is your branding by default or design? Which will lead you into her studio. And as a sanctuary, holding space for your identity transformation, refining, honoring your iconic essence, she asked the question, are you living by default or design? Either way, she is in your space to help you from intention to integration. Hi, Lola.
Hi, Mika.
So I fell in love with you the very first time we met. I think you know that because we resonate on something that I would love for us to talk about today, which is drumroll brand.
Oh, brand.
Yeah,
That.
of course it's brand. So you know that my background is in, like, that's what I have my degree in, branding design, visual communications, et cetera, et cetera. But I do not do that nowadays. Everybody knows what I do nowadays, blah, 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 blah. However, whenever I meet someone who just gets branding and loves it and gets their hands dirty and gritty and just breathes it, I fall in love immediately. And that person is you. Like, I am literally describing you. When I learned what branding was about 1,500 years ago, the phrase was branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And I love that as a description, but I want to hear, we all want to hear what your phrasing is. What do you describe brand as?
Branding to me is not what others say as much as the identity of you and the business, often separate entities, if I can clarify that too. I think that branding is the values, the characteristics, the presentation, the just that essence of a business and an individual. What I would come up against with the phrase that you said is that it's what other people say. That's marketing. I think this is a really like a great opportunity to split a hair here of branding versus marketing. Branding is the identity, the essence, the characteristics of a company, and marketing is the voice, the vocabulary, the message, the reputation of a company. So while I do hear you on that statement, I have a disagreement to it because that is the marketing at work, not the brand at work. The brand is really that essence of identity.
And so it was interesting. Let's rewind just a couple sentences because you said something that really just like sparked my interest just now. You separate the business from the person when you talk about brand. Did I hear you say that?
Yes. Yes.
And so when you say business, define what that is versus the
Yeah.
persona.
there's always situations for everything, right? Sometimes when we are building a personal brand, it is a brand of a human. Sometimes we're building a business brand where it's a humanization of a business. Sometimes there's overlap in that, but I find that you've really got to split the hair again on that and say, like, am I branding a business or am I branding an individual? Am I branding a team? Like, there's different ways of this. But what I would say is, for example, SpiderMeka Portraits is the business. Meka is the individual of that business. Yeah, you do have both. For you, you have both. For SpiderMeka, that business might make decisions you as Meka may not make. And Meka may make decisions that SpiderMeka may not make. Here's an example. In my business, when I first launched my business, I had a beautiful launch party. At the party, my brand is black and gold. I wanted everything to be black and gold, but my invitations were actually white and gold because my business, Iconic Details, said, look, Lola, we want to be approachable, open, transparent, welcoming. We need to lead with white and gold because of the psychology of color. If we lead with black and gold just for the invite itself, it's more mysterious, it's more luxury, it's more, restricted, it's more shadowed, and we need to not do it that way. Me as an individual, I just want everything black and gold because it's sexy and amazing. But in certain situations, the business brand will speak on your behalf. It will follow the company values, vision, and mission in a way that you might get too personal about. I'm often finding this when I do brand people and, their colors are, oh, well, that's my favorite color. Or their logo is a symbol that they like. It has nothing to do with the mission or vision of the company.
Kind of feel like, and I wonder if a lot of entrepreneurs feel this way, that so many things about my business are really my preferences, right? And so now hearing you say, because what I know about you, yeah, everything is black and gold, but the approachability, the psychology of color, I love that you think about these things. And I'm sure that, you have some really interesting conversations when you're talking to other people about their brands, right?
Yeah. And sometimes, here's an example. Last night I was working with a copywriter. I'm gonna claim my blondness in this moment. He was expressing
Your
rules.
She-Hulk blonde.
Yeah, my blondness on it. He was explaining grammatical rules about the English language, like things should be a certain way. Yet, from a brand perspective, in this copy, it should have been a certain way. And I said, here's how we make the decision. Your brand, you are based in the grammatical language rule, not industry rule. So therefore, your way wins in this moment. And any other time, though, it wouldn't. So for example, I'm going to butcher this, so just bear with me here. But the example was we were putting mission before values in a sentence. And there's something about like the I always goes before the A, the it goes before the ah. And he was like tick tock and using all these different analogies of this. Grammatically, that is correct. From a brand perspective, it's not correct because by definition of what these things are, it's out of alignment. So values are like the ultimate filtering system for a business, right? It's what sets the standard. Like if it doesn't pass your values, you can't do it, or it's not on brand for you. It's not in alignment for you. Then you go to what is the ultimate vision, that big picture that you're trying to accomplish, capturing the essence through photography, that big picture. The mission is the photography, that percentage of how you're going to do that vision, right? It could next be this podcast. The vision doesn't change. The mission can. The execution of the vision can. So back to this sentence, to say vision before values is not correct by brand terms, but for his company, it was. So I had to just like eat it. It's like allow it, because for him, with a background in English, and he's very much about like the grammatical law, it's a thing. So I was like, I'm going to cringe, but for you, this is allowed. And so that's an example of a moment for a brand to set a tone and to set a rule and to set a way of being versus an individual.
I love it. I'm so geeky about this conversation. Being somewhat of an English major myself, I'm like, oh, I wish I were a fly on that wall. That would have been great. But I
Yeah, I mean,
totally
I
get
learned
it.
a lot. There's a lot of like, is it, you know what, own it. Is it the Gestalt theory or something? There's like all these
The
names.
aha.
Yeah, like dude names and things, and like this goes that way. I mean, I use commas like confetti. Clearly, this is why I have copywriters and editors because I just put them where I think they're visually aesthetic. I'm like, oh, that looks nice, put that there. Like, I'm not here to like, and I get it. Everybody has their strengths. That is not mine. I will, I just that's why that.
That's why we all work together. Copy editing is a thing. So we stay in our own lane.
It's a
So
specialty. That's another thing about talking about the people involved in the branding process. A lot of people think it's one person that can do it all. One person can build a website, write the copy, take the photography, build a brand. Can I just say it takes a village, it takes a tribe, it takes a large group of people. So to think that one person is going to do it is
it's nonsense talk.
yes, thank you. I don't know what to say about that. That's just like a good luck for round one. Come to me at round two.
I'm such a fan of using language, even with my own things. Like you never hear me say
Yeah.
photo shoots, it's a photo session. There's so many things that happen. So I don't really think people totally understand, like you say, the big picture of what a brand is and how important every single aspect is toward your messaging and what people are going to say about you when you're no longer in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's transition a little bit because I've got two giant questions for you, and I'm fighting which one to ask first, but we're going to do this one. Okay, so you've got, and I'm going to go back to your super gorgeous website. You've got the Identity Sanctuary, and tell us the other half,
Branding studio.
the Branding Studio.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as both, you've recently gone through sort of a persona acceptance yourself, haven't you?
Sure. Yes. I went through an identity transformation. First, I would say it was the butterfly metamorphosis. It was all about, very gentle, small moves. Well, now that I was saying this out loud, no, it wasn't. It was the other way around. But let's keep going with this. So first, it was like, the butterfly metamorphosis, where it was gentle. It was like just dissolve into cosmic goo, rebuild yourself and become anew. And then it was this phoenix journey that was very much burn it down, ash to dirt, like oxygenate that soil and birth anew. To be honest, it was the other way around. It was the phoenix burn first. It was very like dot 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 dot, and then it was the butterfly metamorphosis. But yes, it was a thing. I divorced my family, moved across the country, sight unseen to Chicago, Illinois. Never been here, didn't know anyone. Thank God I met you like day one. Shaved my head into a She-Hulk and legally changed my name. So,
Yeah, small stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
details.
De
That's
details.
also a moment to talk about the company name. Iconic Details is that exact thing. It's about being iconic in those details. And I use it very playfully because those details matter. And it's not just the specific details, it's the whole of them that can cause such transformation for all of us. And that is the reason I named it Iconic Details. I also laugh a lot because people play, they don't intentionally do this, but they'll mess it up saying iconic designs. And it's also a play on
Okay.
me to see how many people pay attention to the details, because I promise you it's iconic
Mm.
details. Well, all of my work is design and visual aesthetics and things. It's iconic details because it's the details that matter.
No, I love that. And what I know about you, I feel like that's a really fun experiment for you. Like I get it. And it's another
Playful.
thing that
I
we
mean, it's
resonate
Woodley
on.
is playful.
Yeah, absolutely. Where you see a playful space in there, when people do it for me, it's a teeth grinding moment when sometimes they'll, let slip out, oh, it's SpiderMeka photography. Like even my family does it sometimes. Like they were there since the beginning. They've seen all the iterations, and I'm like, no, that's not my name. I don't do all photography. It's super irritating. But I feel like you are a walking, talking design maniac, and I mean that in the most loving, adorable
Actually,
way ever.
I love that. I'll take that.
Yeah, like no harm intended at all. It's a beautiful thing. And so, yeah, I feel like that's super interesting. And I want you to elaborate just a little bit more because I'm ready for my really next question, which this is
You
the
need to
crux of our
explain it to you
conversation.
guys.
I know. I want you to please let us know because most of us who have a business or do a thing, it's because something happened to us that, gives us a little bit of passion or reason behind it. So you've very recently gone through this iconic transformation. How does that magnify and support the service that you provide for others?
I would say it clarified it more than magnified it. Again, not to split hairs or pick on words here, but for me, what it did was it clarified what is necessary to get iconic results of the branding process. And I use iconic in replacement of the butchered authentic, real, all those like hype words these days. Um, the clarity for me came in the fact that my business actually had to get into the cocoon with me. It had to go through the Phoenix journey with me. And she's different than I am, but together we had to go through it because we do have a lot of overlap as you do with your business, right? Like there's a Lola and there's an iconic details, but both of
Hmm.
us were in it. And what had happened was she needed to divide into two distinct divisions of a company. One was the identity sanctuary for this like safe space to quite literally yell sanctuary. Like when you are going through these transformations and transitions of identity, it's not safe. You're in environments where people don't want it, people don't want to hear it, people don't accept it, people don't appreciate it. And so it is not safe to always shave your head into a She-Hulk, change your name, say what you think, or go against the grain. And I needed a space. I needed it. I needed a space that I could go. I could try things on. I could say things in a new way. I could speak truth. God forbid, speak
Yeah.
truth and it be safe. I'm getting goosebumps. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
I also needed support. I needed someone to talk to. I needed an anchor to my reality in a distorted world I was living in. I needed that. All of that to say, it created the identity sanctuary, a place to go and refine, honor, and infuse details of yourself that you want to carry forward and mourn, release, and thank parts you don't. And that needs to be sacred. That needs to be honored. That needs to have its space. And I think that was important. I was blessed that I got that in bits and pieces from the people that have been around me. I was lucky. Not everyone has that. I understand that. So that was the formation of that with clarity of that core essence, identity of who I was and what I was trying to infuse into every detail of my life. I mean, life by design is redesigning everything, where you live, how you live, who you live like with and like around and all of the things. Then became clarity to the branding side. Now on the branding studio side, it's very much like a craft room workspace. Like think of those big tables you can spread out, do your work. And in there it was about taking that essence that came from the sanctuary side over to the business and brand and refining it. As people that are in business for many years, you realize it's a refining process. You are not who you are the first year. You are not who you were the third year. You're not who you were the fifth year, the 10th year. It is just a constant evolution that I think people don't talk about. They say, like, build it and they will come, or whatever the hell it is, but that's not the case. You constantly
Yeah.
are refining and tweaking and changing. And is it this? Is it that? It's almost like, yes, it's the light bulb effect. It takes 100 attempts to find the one that actually produces light. And so on the branding studio side, it was the culmination of full transparency, moving to a new city. I was trying to potentially work at an agency. I've never actually worked in an agency. So in Chicago, it has a beautiful collection of creative agencies. I wanted to learn from the inside out. What are they doing? How are they doing it? What's different? What's similar? How could I improve? Like, not to be like an undercover boss, but kind of to see like what was going on. I probably did 60 informational interviews. Good news, bad news. I did not get a job, JOB, from it, but I got insight from it. And from that insight, I used it to just tweak and refine what I was doing. And then ultimately relaunched my business to the version it is today. I revamped a website, and the website that I created was an experience. I didn't want just the website with the menu at the top and like services on the damn thing. I wanted it to be as if I welcomed you into my world. There is a landing page to talk like tech about it. There's a landing page that welcomes you and says, hi, welcome in. Do you need a power cord or a cup of tea? Power cord, let's head to the studio. Cup of tea, let's go to the sanctuary. And it was, I mean, this is kind of childish, but my favorite books growing up were the Bernstein Bear books, where you got to like read through a chapter and at the bottom pick which way you would go. And I just love the experience of that. I didn't know that was user experience, UX design, all the things, but like I loved that. So I thought, okay, I want to create these doorways where if you want to go into the sanctuary, head this way. If you want to go into the studio, head this way. And throughout the website, there's also these little underground tunnels, which are, who knew in Chicago, that's a thing. But the underground tunnel where if you're on, right? It's like correlations and synchronicities. On the studio side, there's a button in the footer that says head over to the sanctuary. You just whoop underneath, there you are. And on the sanctuary side, if you want to head over to the studio, whoop, there you are. Like, it's just these little rabbit holes for people to create their own journey, their own experience. I did not build it with the intention of sales, like big, bold call to action buttons and big, bold, like, buy now, do this, schedule this. I genuinely wrote it like a letter to you.
Yeah.
Saying, hi, welcome in. How can I best support you? Do you need a cup of tea? Because we got to talk about some things. Like, do you want to vent about something, get perspective on something, burn something down? Like, what do you need? Or is it over in the studio? Yeah.
Yeah. That's perfect segue.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's talk about so first of all, your website is beautiful. It totally reads like a love letter to me. I'm going to say to me because I felt like you were writing to me. It was gorgeous. So appreciate that. Love the underground tunnels. And yes, you hit on the word that is our next and our crux for being here. Let's vent. You ready?
Oh, yes.
I want to know. I totally want to know. You can take a beat and think about it. What is the thing that annoys you, bothers you, gets under your grind, gets your goat the most that people are doing either wrong or just don't know or are adamant about when they come to you so that you can be the problem solver and set them straight?
It's easy. Apply branding. Okay, so it takes like 2 seconds to know. I'm like, it's almost not their fault. When we start a business, we're so excited. We feel like the validation, which I know some people say validation is for parking, but there is a stage that you actually have to go through this part where you're like, no, I need this. We need the business card. We need a website. We need a logo. Now effective immediately. We have credibility and we're in business. Okay, fine. Like, yeah, you know what? You and I both did this. Like, I get it. This isn't like, I'm not saying things I didn't do myself. Then you go and start hiring the cheap people, the F word people, the friend, the freelancer, the Fiverr people. Those are all F words. So you're going to end up saying another one. at the end.
Okay.
Because it's going to lay flat. It's not going to be you. At year 3, 2, 3, you're going to start feeling like it's a straight jacket that just is tight and you just can't quite do all the things that your business wants to expand into, change into, do whatever, because it's tight. It's like wearing, those skinny jeans that are like 2 sizes too small. You can get out of the house, you feel like you look great, but like inside you're like, oh my God, if I have to sit too long, I'm gonna have to unbutton these things. Like, I mean, we all know exactly what I'm talking about. Men,
Been there. Yeah,
you'll
I was
kind
there
of know
last week. I was driving too. It was horrible.
it's a thing. It's like, God, when I'm standing, I look great, but when I sit down, like, and it's what I refer to as applied branding. You're working with these people that are applying color palettes, templates, personality tests, generic setups, because in truth, you don't fully know who you are yet. And they're just kind of helping you make these assumptions about things and applying a brand to your business. It's kind of like painting it on. What I like to do is identified branding, where instead, without any harm caused to you or your business, if I were to put you both into a blender and juice you, what comes out? Is it a fruit juice? Is it a high potent like tequila? Is it a kombucha? We have a kombucha right now I'm working with. And then we also have Heineken beer. I mean, like, seriously, people, if you juice me, you're going to get an espresso martini, promise. So like, what is that essence that's coming?
I can vouch for that. Yeah.
You actually can. Probably too many of them. So, what comes out? And then taking that essence and using that to create a brand is a totally different experience. That allows you growth, expansion, acquisition at times. Like, it's just a different experience. So what I find that answers all of the problems people are coming to me with. I'm working with someone that doesn't get it. I'm building this myself. I don't have a budget. I don't know what to do. I hate this because sometimes I do feel like I run a refugee camp of like the survivors of other branders. Like, they've been to so-and-so, they paid thousands of dollars, they didn't get what they want, and now they don't know what to do. And they're literally licking their financial wounds and their identity wounds because what was produced feels insulting to what they wanted. And I'm often saying, you're both wrong. You're wrong for going to any specialist thinking that they're a psychic. Unless there's a neon sign outside that says psychic, they aren't. They need you to be somewhat prepared. Now, I understand you may not know everything of what you want and all of the things, but the right service provider will be asking 1,000 questions, not 1 or 2, like a ton of questions to get the truth out of you and like what you need out of you. The wrong ones will have like a 10-question questionnaire and that's it. That's when I start to question, I'll be like, tell me like how many on their intake, how many questions did they ask? If it's under 10, I'm like, you were screwed from the start because they're not asking enough questions about you to get to know you. Think of it like a date. If you're on a date and the guy's like, or guy, girl, whoever is like, what's your name? What's your website? What are your, social links, and tell me what's your favorite color? Do you have a cat or a dog? Want to get married? I would just be a little
fun
concerned
analogy
about how much they know about me. If you've been on a couple of dates, you've started talking about the good juicy bits, like
maybe have an argument or two.
Yes, like just get into it a little bit more. You're probably going to get better results. Now, it's not always, I want to be clear, it's not always you get what you pay for, but typically it is, because those of us that are charging maybe on the higher end, it's because we have to fix what was done to you and then do it right. So in essence, we're double
It's reconstructive surgery. Yeah.
We're doing it twice. I got to undo all this and help you heal and help you understand and help you get what you actually wanted. So
totally fair.
That is my vent. That is my soapbox. I mean, I love soapboxes because I have many. I'm passionate about this industry. I'm passionate about this work. I'm passionate about primarily the muse, the client, the person that needs integrity to do it right and not just be getting a buck for it. Like when people come to me, yes, there is a transaction of money. Money is transferred from the client muse to me, but it's not about that for me. It is really about doing the work and doing it right in a way that creates almost like a lasting legacy. You're not going to have to rebrand when you work with me. My God. Like, I think it's
Oh my
hilarious.
gosh.
Yeah, that's a whole other tangent. Meka,
Yes,
got
I'm
fired
here.
up.
I know you got fired up. I'm loving it. I'm jumping in my chair. This is the best. In all fairness, I get fired up all day. It's only right that I ask someone else to get a little antsy in their seats too. Like, why should I have to be the only one to suffer all the? This is what this is for. I want us to vent. Did you get it all out?
No.
I know you didn't. So from there, then I know there's more. Part two, I suppose.
Right.
So here's, I want this to be helpful for others. So when someone, first of all, how does a person know that you are what they need? What are the signals they can look for in their own life so
Oh,
that they can say, you know what? I need to go to Lola. She's my person.
I would say you're just at milestones. Let me put it that way. You're gonna be at places that are either gonna cause you stretch marks or growth opportunities. So I would say first, you're at year 2 or 3 in your business. You've just got to commit to being an entrepreneur at this point. Like a lot of people start businesses and it's cute and it's fun and it seems playful, but we're not playing house. I need the people that are committed to this, that want to be in business and are going to last in business. So, lovingly and respectfully, those hobbyists, I don't want you. Please don't call me. The people that are serious about this and you really want to move forward with this, at year 2 or 3, you're starting to figure out what you do and don't like. You've worked with enough clients that you now know what a bad client is, you know what bad money is, and you're not taking it all. And you really want to like specify into this area that you're starting to get more clarity. Year 5, now you are able to be on a soapbox like Meka and I are. You have opinions,
Uh-huh.
you have strong opinions, you have ways of doing things that need to be highlighted, honored, and almost integrated into the brand and known for. At year 10, you're feeling like a stale chip. There's no other way I can explain it other than you're just kind of dried up. You still got taste, but it's just boring. Like what you have is what you set up a while ago, and you just want to like freshen things up. Maybe you have the budget now. Maybe you have a new you now, like whatever it is at that place. And I am, interestingly enough, I've never had this before, but right now I have 2 20 plus year in businesses. I have a realtor and I have a therapist coach. And what they are finding is it's not a stale chip as much as a shoemaker without shoes. They've just gone for so long doing it with the way that they have it. They haven't really stopped to put time into themselves. They're such givers. It just always, it's necessary. They want it, but like I hit my groove. I'm in my flow. I want to give. I want to give. I want to give. And it's like, okay, but who's giving to you? And what could this support
Uh-huh.
you in if we just refresh it a bit? So I can now say my timeline is even farther out that I can see things. But what I find when I talk to people, they're like, yep, you just called me out with that one, wherever they are in it.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of the signs of when you might need to call me. Or another one that a client recently told me was the education, that if you get on a call with me, it's not just about let me book you and convert you to a client. It's maybe
Yeah.
you don't need me. Maybe you need to work with Meka. Maybe you need to work with somebody on the A team, like a videographer, a website developer, a YouTube expert, like any of these people that I'm like, hey,
Someone who knows how to use commas.
yeah, right. I mean, hell, I hired one too. Look at that. I didn't need me. I needed someone else. So I love just clarity calls where we just get on the call, we have a conversation, you tell me where you're at, and I'm like, hey, this is awesome. I did this recently. It was a client came to me, she wanted branding, and that's great. She didn't need it. She needed Tyler, who is our videographer and YouTube specialist. Can I be the creative director and help oversee some of that so I make sure it's true to her identity? Absolutely. But she needs Tyler, not me. So it was a pass through. So I think even if you don't know what you need, that is something that I would love to listen to just to help give you a little clarity and direction.
Awesome. And so, how can one find you to get that clarity and direction?
I think the easiest thing is head over to my little virtual space, right? iconicdetails.com. And then from there, find what you need. If you need to step into the sanctuary, you need to go into the studio, like that's where I'll be.
I love that. And you show up 100%. And I love that about you. And I am so happy that you made some space today to chat with me and to vent. I saw you literally get red in the face just now. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And it was amazing. Thank you. I love it. I want everyone's face to get red and vent with me from now on. That was beautiful. Now it's got to be a requirement. We're just going to tick the box. Face red? Absolutely. Yay. Ding.
Well, I have to take a moment and congratulate you. I know you didn't expect this, but girly, I am so proud of you. We have been over many an espresso martinis or wine. Chardonnay is our thing. Organic only, no sulfates. If anyone needs to buy her a drink, just so you know.
I love your memory.
You know, I listen to these things. It took me a long time with the dairy, but we're over that now. I know that too. No dairy.
We are. We're
Yes.
over the hump.
So good. But we've talked about this. We've dreamed about this. We've said this. And it is so fabulous just to see you living this. This is the branding of you. This is your expression of self. This is you showing up in that iconic detail, in that way that you want to be. And I'm just so excited for you. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you learned some things or were inspired by this episode, tap that subscribe button now and never miss a thread. I am Meka, internationally recognized portrait and branding photographer, consultant, and speaker based in Chicago. The Streams of Silk podcast is for small business owners and their friends wanting to elevate their life experience. Follow the spider and keep listening for more ways to find connection in the chaos.